Next one here, two siblings agree to mow the lawn. I know you guys always love these frame ones, so I did one more. It's like, just let's picture it properly. They agree to mow a lawn 80 by 60. You can do so many variations of this. It can be a lawn, it can be a frame of a picture, whatever you want, right? So I just did mowing a lawn. So it's 80 by 60. They mow the lawn with a uniform width border. Are we used to that word now? Uniform width border is just X around. So they're just trying to say it's the same X. So uniform width border, starting around the outside of the lawn. So let's do it. I'm going to do a nice big diagram so I can do it this way. Okay, so again, it doesn't have to be this big. I'm just trying to do it so that you guys can see. So 80 by 60. So is the outside 80 by 60? Yeah, the outside is definitely 80 by 60, right? Definitely outside. The first sibling is going to start mowing, starting around the outside of the lawn. So what they're doing is they're going to go around. You know how people do this lawn mowing and they keep going in around to smaller. I don't know if you do or not, but they sometimes do that, especially when they're driving one of those little machine things. So they go in to a square. So they'll drive here, 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 and they're going to do little arounds to get that. So again, the uniform width, it means this X again, right? That this is the same X all the way around. Okay, your diagram doesn't have to be this big, but so you can see. And that's definitely the 80, right? So the 80 is the outside. It's the outside part of the garden, and we're heading inside. So then when we head inside, then we're going to head this way. So it's going to be 80 minus 2x. Does that feel better? Right? So it's 80, and then I took off 2 bits. And then if this is all of 60 and I took off 2 bits, then this side here, from here to here, that would be 60 minus 2x. Does that feel a little bit better that way? So then this is from here to here. That's 60. Okay? Then now look at the area. So they must have given us some more information. So they said the first sibling is only going to mow 20% of the lawn. So is that the outside or the inside? Who starts first? It says in the words. Outside or inside? What do you think?
Outside.
Outside, because it says starting, right? So it says starting around the outside of the lawn. So when I say first, then that means that this one. So we're going to say this part here. Okay, just shading that in so you know this part here is where we're starting. The first sibling's only going to be 20%. So this portion here, so all this green part here, this green part here is 20% of the lawn. Of what? So it's 20% of the lawn. How do I get that 20% of the lawn? Yeah. How do I know it's the outside? It says the first sibling, right? So the first one who's mowing. And where did I say here? Starting around the outside of the lawn. So did they start in the middle and head out? No. So the first sibling is doing this. So they're starting. So the border, the first sibling is doing 20% of the lawn, which is the outside, first start. Okay? So then how do I get 20% of the lawn? What do you think? Yeah.
You're multiplying the area by 0.2?
Yeah, 0.2 times 80 by 60. 20%, and again, you got to know this, 20% is 0.2. Okay, so 20% is 0.2, and again, this is from grade 9. I can't go back further than that. So 20% is 0.2 times 80 by 60, which is the whole thing. That's going to give me, so what is that? So 80 times 0.2, sorry, I don't want to do this. It's 0.960. Okay, so that's 960 meters squared, yes? That's for the outside part there. So if I want to use that area idea, so if I want to say let X represent the width of the strip, right? So let X represent the width of the strip. Am I going to say 80 by 60 equals 960? That makes no sense. I have no variable. So if I want to use the variable, I have to go to the inside rectangle. So see how I went to the outside because the 2x was there. Here I want to go to the inside rectangle. So the inside rectangle is 80 minus 2x times 60 minus 2x. So the inside rectangle here is 80 minus 2x times 60 minus 2x. Now, is that 20% of the lawn? No. The outside's 20. So how do I get the inside of the lawn? Because look, it doesn't match. That's how much? 80, yes. So we want 80% of the lawn, or you do 80 by 60 and minus the 960 from it. But if this is 20% on the outside, the remainder inside must be 80% of the lawn. So this part here, I'll do pink stripes here, right? So this whole part here, so the inside part here, this whole part there, that is going to be 80%. Right? So I know that's 80. So you don't have to show this stuff. This is your brain going thinking, thinking, thinking. So then you're going to go 0.8 times the 80 by the 60. Or you can do the whole lawn minus 20. So same thing, right? So again, we've done percentages long, long ago, like that. So I know that this is going to be, check that again, times 80 by 60. I got 3840. So that goes 3840. So that's 80% left, and that was 20% on the outside. And is this a vertex question? Not a vertex, so not a vertex question. So I would go ahead and solve it with quadratic formula or factor, and usually these guys sometimes go to decimal because it's hard to get an exact amount. Yes, question?
Are all these questions just like word problems? And my other question is that, will there be any word problems that have any of like the square rooting equations that we did?
I don't know. Anything from homework, anything can go on to the evaluation. So I'm just doing these because I just don't think that there was enough examples right in the notes from what we did. But yeah, anything from homework and notes can be on, right? And sometimes we go beyond that, like we ask a question that we think you should be able to figure out. But yeah, in terms of the test, I wanted to go over these because I know this is a challenge on this test. We always find that students go ahead and find the vertex of this one. So if you go and find the vertex, and this is not a vertex question, I can only give you the marks for the setup, right? And then you might do 6 more steps below, but I can only give you the marks for the setup because you got the setup right, and everything below you're on the wrong one. So decide if it's a vertex or not, because otherwise the steps below I can't give you marks for because you've gone, everything below that doesn't make sense. Okay, so decide that. Yeah.
Can we have max min law question?
Yeah, so then I could say maximize the area. Yeah, so if I said the question is, can I have a max min? I would say instead of giving you the area, I'd say find the maximum area that we could use with that. But yeah, but this is opening up, so this would be a minimum area, right? So that's why. So I'd have to phrase it so it makes sense, because this would be a parabola that opens up, so that would be a minimum. Yeah, so find the minimum something, something, yeah. Yes? Yeah, didn't I say that at the beginning? Yeah, so go do the homework. There's some of these. Yes, you're asking about the one side. Yeah, do the homework, right? I'm not saying this is the be all and end of all the examples, and I'm not saying it's exactly what's on the tests and stuff. Everything can be on there. There's homework questions that are different than that. I'm just trying to go through because you guys don't tend to know where to put the X's. Okay, so it's not everything that's on the test. It's not, right, not everything like that. There's different variations, yes, so there's the one-sided ones, all that stuff. Not saying anything like that. I'm just trying to do a few more. Okay, these two were my repeat. I already did them on the first page. I clipped and pasted. I thought I wanted to start with the integer question, and I forgot to delete it. So done, done, done. This we already know. So again, this is the regular fencing question, which we did 1,000 times, right? So we have, it's divided into 2 sections. So first question is this a max or min question? Yeah. It's a max min, right? So what's the maximum area? Again, you know how to set this one up, so just let X represent width and Y length of the field. And then we go 3X plus 2Y equals the 900, and we know that we're going to maximize the area is XY. So this is a vertex question, right? So again, we're missing, we take this, we isolate one of these, put it in, but we're missing what the area is, right? So that's where you go, okay, this is definitely a vertex question, and we would solve it because of that maximum area. So again, the setup, right? And do I need to finish that? I'm not going to finish that just because you know how to finish that, and you've got homework questions like that. It was just for the setup. And then the last one is, again, a box is to be built by cutting squares out of a rectangular piece of metal, folding up the sides. So if we have this one, right? So this is the one where we folded it up, and I tried to show you, right, in the other time, that you can fold it up into open top. So we're opening it up so it looks like this. Right, so it's open top, and then these guys here are, that's my fold up. Right, so that's the fold up here. Folding up the sides. Write the equation if the sides of the rectangle are 50 by 80. So this is 50 by 80, okay? The base has to have an area of 600. So if I know it's 80 for the whole thing, and I'm folding up the bits, okay, and I just said write an equation. So if I'm folding up the bits, we've got x here for the little bit that we're folding up. So that would be the x that's folded up. Does that make sense? Right, so when I folded up that little piece of paper the other day, right, so I did this, I folded it up, so the x is your corner that you're folding up on the box. So how much is this part here on the base now? And how much is this after I folded it up? So I know the whole thing was 80 from here to here, but I took off 2 corners and folded it. So I know it's going to be 80 minus the 2x that I folded, and this one here, it's 50 for the whole thing, but I cut 2 corners off, right? So I'm going to minus 50. So you see how it's similar to the frame question, right? It's kind of that same idea, right? So I can... Yeah, and I can do different shapes. We used to do corners of things. Like we'd say, okay, you're cutting off the corner of it. Like, so we do multiple shapes. We kind of repeat shapes now, but we used to do multiple different shapes and have the right idea. So then, if I say, write an equation, if the sides are this, the base must have an area. So what's my equation? So let x represent the side length of the square cut out, right? The square that's cut out, so we know those are x here. So what's my equation going to be? No, exactly. So it's not. So make sure you read what it says. Yeah, what's this? It's 600 meters squared. What's 600 meters squared? Keep reading backwards. Write an equation of the sides of it and the base. So the base is just this. The bottom, without going volume. So what do we do? Yeah.
50 minus 2x.
Yeah.
Times 80 minus 2x.
Yeah.
Equals
That's it. 600. And that's it. Okay, so I didn't go to volume. I went just to the base. Right? So you can vary the question different ways. I could say the face of the box. Like there's lots of different things that you can do with these questions. Okay, but that's kind of some typical, yeah.
Why do you get minus 2x?
Because the whole sheet, so the whole piece of paper, so this was the one where, right, I grabbed this and I said, so I'm going to cut out the corner. So when I cut out the corner, these are the squares, and then I took out those and I folded it up. So now, how much shorter is it? The side is this side length, but minus 2 x's. Right, so that was the one where I cut it out. Good? Okay, and again, that doesn't cover everything. I was just trying to do a once-over review. Yes, question?
For a folding question, will it always be minus since you're folding?
Yeah, for the folding, I'd have to cut in. Yeah, I wouldn't wouldn't be able to attach. That would have to be a lot of wording for me to describe it. It would have to, yeah, it'd have to be minus. Right? Yeah, folding questions would have to cut the corners out. And we do lots of variations of this when we get to grade 12. Right, so it varies more. We have lids, we have cost, we have stuff like that. So this is kind of the basics of it. Any other questions? If I want the diagram, I will specifically say, so up here, I think I said on one of them, Yeah, provide a diagram on this one. So if I'm assigning a mark to it, I'll say provide a diagram. Honestly, in grade 12, I say you must provide a diagram for anything that can provide a diagram, right? So yeah, so try to get used to it. If I'm not assigning marks to it, then we won't say anything. But if we are assigning a mark, we'll say provide a diagram. That means you're getting a mark just for the labeled diagram. And by diagram, I don't mean, sometimes people go, oh, okay, that's not quite the diagram I was looking for because nothing's labeled, right? So people go, but there's a diagram. If nothing's labeled, that doesn't count. So I actually want like the little tick and then X and something like that. A labeled diagram, not just a box, right? So yes, it's very good plan to not have it labeled. But yes, I want it labeled diagram. Yes?
So for question 9, that's like the end of the question, right? Because all you asked us to do was write.
I just said write an equation, yeah, just an equation. Yeah, so again, yeah, so some questions, sometimes we're like, write the equation, don't solve it, but we want to see the setup of it, yeah, right? And we've done that before where we're like, don't solve it. Oh, and again, vertex or not a vertex? Not, right? Not vertex, so do not use, just telling you, if it's not a vertex, please don't use vertex X, right? If you're doing that, I can't mark anything below. Everything after this is just, it's not useful, right? And doesn't get marks. Yep.
You should only use like the vertex stuff if it's asking for max, min.
Max, min, greatest, least. So max, min, greatest, least. Yeah, you're looking for those words. Yeah, okay? So don't, that's why I want to go over these, is that deciding which is kind of the thing. All right,